evening, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Crone Zone, and we are croning out tonight. We've got the special Gerald from TarotStache. Welcome, 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 my friend.
Thank you very much for having me back for part 2.
Oh, it's
Part two.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
and they're balloons because
And there's balloons too. Oh, I love it. Hey,
Yes.
Diane G and Linda Day Gonzalez. Welcome, 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 you guys. What a fun Saturday night.
Yes, and it's a full moon.
A pink
So-
full moon in Libra.
And Libra. Okay, and you just had Val on to talk about that, didn't you?
Yeah, we talked about that last night. She was on because she was on earlier, just an hour ago, with Diane talking about it as well. Hey, Amanda.
Hi, Amanda.
Greetings, greetings, all. So we pulled
Hello,
cards.
everybody.
We each pulled a card for tonight. Gerald, you want to go first?
Well, I shuffled it back in, but I got the Emperor. So I got the Emperor, which is the Emperor is about understanding your kingdom and the boundaries and your and setting this structure around it. And so I'm like going, because if
Can you
look
put
at your
that structure down?
well, and for those of you who watched part 1, sometimes I get so caught up in getting to know the people that are hosting me, I don't always answer the question. So today I'm trying to stay focused and understand.
You
Gerald.
are the guest.
Yes, I am the guest, Gerald. Just answer the dang question. And because it's Gerald, I'm going to push so far outside that box.
That's fine, Gerald.
We will see if Heather and Priscilla can get me back on track.
Oh, we can't.
shall see. We shall see. I just want to say special hi to Purple Elephant Deb. How are you, my dear? Wonderful, wonderful to see you here. And Jenny's here too. Jenny is going with me on my trip to pick up my van.
Yep.
It's going to be insanity.
Oh my!
Are
you going to be like recording this and doing all that stuff?
What we can.
Parts of.
So, what were your cards?
Well,
Okay.
I had. You can't hardly see it because it's so colorful. But just think of all those things that you can't see as being greens and blues and things like that, and purples.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, what the card is saying is expansion in your life. So be creative, and that's what's going to happen on here. You know it is. It's all going to be very expansive.
As Linda says, why would anyone want you on track?
Exactly.
I found the Emperor.
The
There
Emperor.
you go.
See, so this is Priscilla, and one hand is Priscilla, one hand is Heather, and which is which I don't know. Who's going to be pounding the table trying to get me on track, and who's
That would be Heather.
Right.
Okay.
I'm the one that goes down rabbit holes, so I can't.
I end up
hold
pulling
you
everybody back.
Okay, I got Thoth, the Master Thoth, and it's a divine magic. The teacher awakens, the student becomes the master.
Very
I
nice.
think that's really lovely because I know we're all trying to master.
And G. Covington likes your new look.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks, G. Genevieve, thank you so much. It's going to vary when I start life on the road.
Yeah.
So that's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking forward to hitting the road. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with Miss Jenny. Oh my God. And her sister, we're picking up the van in Boise, and her sister and her husband live in Boise. And so we're going to get to stay with them for a few days.
Nice.
And when we leave Boise, we're going to go visit Pure Visionary Psychic Medium, Terry Lee, because she lives very close.
That's great.
I know, it's just going to be such a fun trip. So I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you, Jenny, for going with me. Hopefully we'll still be friends when we get back.
Which is why you have to film it.
We will. It'll keep us in line if we're filming, right? No.
No, it'll
Just
get more
can
views.
No,
It'll get you more views because of the trouble.
they'll forget it's on.
There is that possibility.
Yeah, big
You know
possibility.
me. So, Gerald, my friend, some of the questions that we wanted to ask last time was
Yeah.
basically, when did you know you had gifts and or recognize that they were gifts?
That's the word, recognize, because like you, I had them all my life, but I didn't recognize them as gifts till much later. So when did you?
I probably started to recognize that these were gifts and that not everyone had similar experiences to me about 15 years ago.
Oh,
That's about right.
Part
me
of
too.
part of it was having a really good support group. I was going through some personal therapy. I was doing more. I had been reading tarot for at that point probably about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And so when I realized that I was getting these intuitive hits and just sort of speaking out, I thought everybody could do that.
Right.
Apparently not.
Apparently
So,
not.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
And my family was the same way. They didn't recognize any kind of gifts. They just said, "You're really smart," or "If you
mhm.
have something to say, we need to listen to it."
Sure,
But
sure.
I had to fight hard to be able to say anything.
I was gonna say I was number 4 of 5 kids, and I never got a chance to talk, so
Yeah,
I was very internalized,
Hmm.
very
I
much
was.
an introvert, uh,
Mhm.
2
Yeah.
older brothers. I didn't
Well,
have
I have
couldn't
an older, and I had a younger brother, and I'm the only girl. There's just
Yeah.
no way.
Well, and I'm the youngest of 12 children,
Oh my
so
no
goodness.
shit,
there
12?
yes, that's
Wow.
why I'm able to that's why I can project. I can go into an auditorium and I don't need a microphone
Mhm.
You
because
learned
if I
early.
say something, yeah, I learned early.
Yeah.
I learned
Your
early.
poor mother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people were always surprised because I generally speak softly. Right now, I'm throwing my voice trying to make it louder, but usually, if I talk, it's soft. But everybody could hear if I was singing. It was a whole different production.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Nobody wanted to hear me sing.
No one still wants to hear me sing.
No one still wants to hear me
my
sing.
mom was a professional singer, and the person singing the intro and outro, that's my daughter.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Wow.
she wrote the music and sings our intro and outro. She's
So
very
it's
talented,
in the
smart,
genes.
talented.
Yes.
Definitely in the genes. And then didn't you say your grandson is singing as well?
Yeah, he's in high school and he's gone from regionals. His next place is he's going to state to sing.
Wow.
So
Definitely
he's
in the
doing
genes.
well.
Yeah.
So I started to really believe that I had these gifts about 15 years ago.
Mhm.
My family does not know that I do a YouTube channel,
Is
and
that to this day they don't know? And how long
yeah,
have you been doing a YouTube channel?
almost 5 years or
And they
five
don't
years or
know. That's
so.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, and I had another YouTube channel specifically around knitting. So
So you're a
that I
knitter.
haven't done anything with for, oh goodness, boy, that's been a long time since I've done anything with that. But I am continuing to learn and realize that some of the skills that I have, I can develop them
Mhm.
because it's just like with many things. Um, if it just a little bit of time and attention, things can get stronger, and when they get stronger, they become clearer.
Yes.
So I've
I
been
found
doing.
that has helped me practice groups that I'm in. Like,
Mhm.
I'm pretty weak at, or I've always considered myself very weak at mediumship. So when I'm in practice, I really practice mediumship, and it is definitely getting better. It's
Mhm.
definitely getting better.
Well, and I would say being online doing readings for people.
Mhm.
Well, I wouldn't even do readings when we first started.
No,
I
she
was
wouldn't.
too intimidated by all the fabulous readers out there that I was like, I'm not doing that. And gradually I got more and more, confident with it. I'm still not confident with tarot. I don't really know tarot very well,
Mhm.
although I've taken a class
Mhm.
and I'm working with it more because there's some really cool tarot decks out there.
There really are. Trust me, I collect a lot of them. I am surrounded by them.
Oh,
Are
I
they all
have.
tarot or are they
The ma
also,
the majority are tarot,
oh,
and
wow.
I do have some oracle, but I am definitely a collector.
Mhm.
A few of my family members know that I read tarot
Mhm.
because they've caught me using the cards when I've gone to visit them or something like
Right,
that,
right.
or yeah, and that's fine because these are people that are open-minded, where I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
it's like when I go visit my son and his family. I do whatever card reading I'm going to do before I go upstairs where they are.
Hmm.
They
Yeah,
know we have the channel, but they never watch
Yeah,
it.
but they think it's evil.
Yes, they do. They
They
think
think
it's
card
devil,
reading is
devil.
evil.
Although my grandkids don't think it's as evil as their mother.
Right.
well, I think,
Mhm.
yeah, it's interesting because I never grew up hearing tarot or mediumship
Me
or
neither.
anything like that was evil. I never
Me
heard
neither.
that. So I mean,
It
I
was frowned upon if you were really involved in church.
sure.
Sure it was.
I
My sister took me to a medium when I was probably 14 or 15. She was the cat lady, you walked in and the whole place stunk like cat litter and there was a
uh,
gazillion cats around and this weird lady. But I loved it. Even back, that young, I just thought it was amazing.
sure.
And my mom, we went, just the two of us went down to Atlantic City. I lived in Jersey and went to Atlantic City. And I remember this because it was so unusual. I said, I'd love to go to that reader over there, a psychic. And
Mhm.
she actually agreed. And I'm going,
Wow.
are you sure?
That's cool.
Yeah. But she would never have agreed had my father been with us.
Mm, mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, see, my father was probably more open than my mother.
Mm.
Mother was because she would go get readings every so often. But daddy was, well, they were both Rosicrucians, and my dad was really into past life regressions and did that with
Oh,
people. So
And
not that I can remember any of it. I just know that he did it.
do you ever read for any of your brothers and sisters?
You,
me?
Gerald.
Hmm.
I don't. I've read for my brother-in-law when we were on vacation because I was with my good friend Trixie, and we were both studying, and so he was like
Mhm.
going, "Well, here, go ahead and do that for me."
And
And
what did he think of the reading that you
oh,
gave?
he thought it was great, and he actually added a lot of insight to it. He's an
Cool.
open-minded individual, so
I
he's
love that.
don't
That's
tell
great.
everyone, but he's my favorite brother-in-law.
Well, of course he is. He's open.
I
Yes.
understand. I love this. Linda Day Gonzalez says her friend's wife thinks yoga is satanic.
Hey, tell them the story about your yoga.
Yes, I had a wellness center in, Springtown, Texas,
Mhm.
and which is BFE. It's
Mhm.
25 miles northwest of Fort Worth, and so we had a yoga class every day,
Uh-huh.
and during one of the fairs that I had, which was, like, quarterly, I would have psychic fairs, a preacher came in, one of the preachers from the local church came in to check us out. And they told us that we were what was the word? Wasn't
Was it
we were pagan yoga, and they
pagan
started a Christian yoga class,
in their
and I
church?
was like, "Christian yoga? Interesting." At the
Christian
church.
yoga.
Christian yoga.
How's
I-
that work?
Versus our
I
pagan.
have no idea because I never went to that church, I guarantee it.
Well, I remember when I was home. I think I was home for like summer in college, and I was reading a oh gosh, what's his name? Big Past Life, Edgar Casey book.
Mm-hmm.
And my
Read it?
dad, he said, "What are you reading?" I said, "Oh, I'm reading Edgar Casey, and there's a guy about past lives." He says, "Oh, I know who he is." Thought, okay,
Yeah.
so, but it's like, wow, okay. So
It's weird.
maybe they think yoga is satanic because people who do not do yoga a lot probably curse a lot when they try to get their body into these positions.
Well, I tell you, when I first started yoga, I was doing chair yoga. I couldn't get on the
Mhm.
floor, and I had sciatica terribly. And
Sure.
after 6 months of yoga, I was obviously on the floor by that time. And I did it every day because the lady was trying to get her license or whatever, and she wasn't charging for it, and she would come 5 days a week. So it was on my ranch. I had to be there, you know. It was like
Sure.
I
Well,
couldn't not go,
and
but it got rid of my sciatica. I've never had a problem with sciatica
I
since
love
I
it.
started yoga, and I have a hypermobility disease,
Mhm.
Ehlers-Danlos,
Uh-huh.
so I have to be very careful about. I can stretch more than most people
yeah.
anyway, so I have to be
Great.
super careful not to hurt myself
Mhm.
because it's really easy to overstretch, and it affects all your connective tissues.
Wow.
But I agree with Diana.
What's
Diana, sure, just stick the word Christian before something. That makes it okay.
It's true, Diane G. In Texas, when we were building our house, we bought the property and we built the house on the property, and then we built the barn house, which is where the yoga studio was. And every person that came to work for me would introduce themselves and tell me that they were Christian, and I was like, "That's a good reason to kick you off my property."
Mhm.
'Cause the Christian that those type of Christians were nothing but liars and
Mm.
cheats. They just they were as far from Christianity from what we know Jesus really wanted us to be, from the heart.
Mhm.
We're
Mhm.
all from the wallet.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I find that to be true to this day
Yeah.
for the most part.
I think it's for me. I always like to pay attention to the behavior that people have, the things that they say, and the way they treat the people around them.
Mhm.
And if I need to put a label on it, I would say that that is a kind human being, and they're displaying these beautiful qualities, and they're going to get those qualities in return. I think that idea of
I like that.
intention sets what the universe gives you.
Mhm. I agree
I
with you.
agree.
I agree.
I, I'm I'm shocked when I see people treat wait staff and people like that poorly, and that's when I know I don't want them in my life. If you
Yep.
can't treat a wait person with respect,
Yep.
you're not part of my crew, that's for sure.
Yes. I agree. I
And
agree.
it's a real fast way to see what somebody's like,
Mhm.
truthfully.
And I
Yeah.
got another question.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
What experience that you had do you feel has affected you the most? I mean, it just surprised the heck out of you and went, huh?
You mean like a psychic experience or
Yeah.
just a life
Not
experience?
necessarily the person involved, just what kind of experience did you have that just threw you for a loop?
What kind of experience just threw me for a loop that just um when I was in college, I was diagnosed with diabetes, or for those of you who know Wilford Brimley, diabetes.
Diabetes. I'm type 1.
Me too. So I had an opportunity right after, about a year after I was diagnosed. I had an opportunity to be involved in a clinical research for type 1 diabetics.
Did
And
you have adult onset? One,
I was weird. I was 21,
21. So pretty much adult.
20,
Yeah.
21. So, but it was, yeah, it was type 1. So I had this opportunity, and this opportunity, and as I look back at it too, Heather, it's what's really wonderful is it really set up a lot of my overall good health, because just a year into this, I got into this survey. They were really aggressive. I was at the right age to where I embraced what they told me, and I learned how to do that. And I
Mhm.
also learned how to trust what I was told and apply it to me
Awesome.
through this vehicle.
Mhm.
So it was one of those things that when I pay attention to that, it really links me up. It's like there's really nothing like coincidence. There, yeah, everything can be a gift depending upon how we respond to it.
Hmm.
So, did I answer your question, Heather?
Pretty much, yeah, because it had a big effect on you.
Oh, it still does. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh,
just the fact that
absolutely it does.
Yeah.
yeah, it,
And
Do you
how
have
to,
a pump?
I
Or
do,
you have a
I
pump?
do.
I tried a pump and they just could not regulate me through a pump. So I do it once a day with additional for high carb meals.
Sure.
I do wear a Dexcom because I tend to have nighttime lows,
Uh huh.
real low.
Yeah,
So
we don't like that.
Dexcom has saved my life. I absolutely
Yeah,
love having a Dexcom. Do
I
you have
just
one?
started. I just started using the Dexcom. So,
Fantastic.
um, but I had
mm,
been on a pump for almost 20 years.
Wow.
So I
I
just
turned I got was diagnosed in I think it was about 50. 50. How old was I?
well, there,
55 or something
there,
like that.
it always locks. And I'm sure that you guys feel that too. But I actually see people, dead people. I mean, I've done that since I was a
mhm.
kid. There used to be somebody who used to stand at the foot of my bed, and I'd wake up, oh, it's you, and go back to sleep. I didn't know, but anyway,
So do you see ghosts, Gerald? Do you see
I
dead
don't
people?
see that. I don't see dead people. However, I do communicate with them.
right.
Yes.
So I don't actually visually. I don't see them,
I
and
don't
it's
either.
it's it's hard to explain. And for those of you who are watching, like Linda and Deb,
Mhm.
who have read with me, I sort of there's a way that suddenly when I am connecting with either someone who's passed over, an ancestor, a spirit guide, or just somebody who wants to give a message,
Mhm.
I sort of look off into space and I get a sense of who
Mhm.
they are and what they look like. And it's really interesting. Yeah, Deb is like, he
Yes,
channels.
it
I
channels.
know he does. He and I both channel.
He channels.
I
Um,
like
So
yours too,
oh,
but I was really, really happy to get this from a friend.
that's beautiful. So it's one of these things that it's like, depending upon how clear I am and how connected I am,
mhm,
they will I get additional information. It's almost like we're being introduced,
mhm.
and I always approach whomever I'm working with respectfully, because if they feel I'm disrespectful, why would they talk to me? Why would they
Oh, I
allow
think
me
it's
to communicate?
Yeah,
absolutely you have to be respectful of whoever it
Yes.
is.
yeah, and I
And in the
know,
work that we do, we have to be respectful of everybody concerned.
and
Yes.
and I know it knocks me. It not really shocks, but it knocks me a little bit. Like when I went in to talk to a banker, and all of a sudden his mother's standing behind him, and I could see all the clothes she was wearing and what kinds of things she was doing, and I'm
I
going,
don't do that.
I didn't ask for you, but there she was, and she had a message for him. That usually knocks me a little bit for a loop.
Sure.
So
Well, and it is one of those things that I don't have that visual.
I don't either. I don't get the
Um,
usually I
visuals. I
don't.
just know.
I
Just know.
and I see shadows, and they're not all human. They're
oh,
just
I get the shadow thing every once in a while.
yeah.
Yeah, I can get the shadows. Like when I go into the Akashic records, I just see like they're not really shadows, they're more like white lights,
Okay.
like not a orbs, just a bright, just a individual
Mhm.
lights. So
And
Linda Day Gonzalez says, I don't see them either. I just know who they are and what they want to say. Sometimes they'll show me their picture. I very rarely get pictures.
yeah, and it's very rarely
Very
that they just spontaneously appear. It's like when Akron came into the bedroom. He's a what do you call that? Arcanid or
Archon, he's a mantis
a
being.
mantis. Yes, he
Mm,
came in to visit, and I could actually see him. And I'm going,
I
wow.
oh my
was so
god!
jealous. I was channeling him, but he went in her room.
He said, well, he knew that I wouldn't get scared by him, and it might spook you. So, but
Oh,
he didn't fit in my room either. I mean, one of his claws did, but he didn't.
Wow. Yeah, and so for me, it's just, and I just had this experience yesterday with Sun Psychic Jean and Mark Spirit Whisperer.
Hmm.
I do some mediumship with Jean,
mhm.
and what I'm learning is when I'm doing the mediumship, oftentimes, I mean, well, both of you do the mediumship. The first thing that pops into your head, you need to say
Exactly.
Oh,
because it's
boy,
there.
isn't that the
And
truth.
And it's
yes,
so
The
hard to
one
learn
thing
to
that I
just
think
do that. Just
yeah,
pop it out. Don't even think about it.
yeah,
Just
you
say it.
have to, because if I get something weird and I'm thinking, "I'm not saying that." That's the one thing they want. When I finally
yeah.
say it, that's the one thing that makes them recognize I'm talking to whoever it is, you know?
Yeah.
Jean has been very helpful for me and supportive of me leaning into what I'm getting because I will oftentimes get. Yesterday, I got someone when it was like her, I think it was her grandmother. And the first thing that I did is I started to play with my hair like this. I'm like, I
Like
don't
grandma
know why
used
I'm
to.
doing this, but I need to do this. And apparently, that's what this person did when they
Mhm.
were thinking. So it's just like, all right, I get oftentimes I will get a physical connection.
Yeah,
So
Jean
it's
is an amazing catalyst. Oh
Yes.
my god.
Yes.
she's really is.
And I was
I
going to say
adore
her
her.
husband, the first time I met him, he was wringing his hands. Who was always wringing their hands? I didn't have anybody wringing their hands. We finally figured out it was my mother-in-law who worked in ceramics, and she was always putting hand cream on. She wasn't
Ah,
wringing her hands; she was putting hand cream on.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
It's very exciting, and oftentimes I don't. For me, since Deb says that I'm channeling, I I don't hear them per se, but I get the information. It's the claircognizance. It's almost like we're jacked in. These
Mhm.
discussions are so helpful. Makes me realize I'm not a freak in how I get information.
I agree, Linda.
Yes,
that's what we're here for.
It
yes,
That's
works
what we're here
so
for.
well.
Yeah.
Hearing how everybody else does things, it just makes it well, either it's really interesting because I've never done it that way, or it's really cool because it is exactly how I do it, and we
Yeah.
all do things a little bit differently, and it's fascinating, I think,
yes.
because I think, Linda Day Gonzalez is one of the most amazing Akashic record readers out there. I
Hmm.
think she is incredible,
Yes.
and so it's kind of fun that we kinda do things the same way.
Yeah.
I always think it's kind of interesting that Priscilla started out in what I call heavy duty channeling, where she was not aware of what was being said. I was writing it all down. Now she does what I call more lightweight because you're not so deep that you don't remember what's being said. You can
Well,
repeat it.
I'm not trance channeling anymore. I
That's
trance
right.
channeled for the first
A
couple of
while.
years,
Yeah.
and then for some reason, that just kinda stopped, but it was really exciting because Ra came, King Arthur came,
Right.
Mhm.
all these fascinating
Archon,
people
a
from
lot of,
history came and from other dimensions. Yeah, it
right.
was absolutely fascinating.
And aliens of all sorts would come. We had to do a ritual before she did anything just to keep out
Oh, yes, you
so
had to set
many of them.
yeah, you had to s
Yeah, when I first started
that's a
at
safe
one my
place, yeah.
husband was my gatekeeper, And he passed a couple of years before I started channeling, and he was my gatekeeper. And so Heather and I were cleansing and doing all, and I had no idea what I was doing. This is like during COVID.
Just beginning.
It was all just starting. So we were like, okay, we're ready for anybody of the highest light that's here for our highest good that we want to talk to. And my husband was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Pump the brakes on that.
There's too many.
There is a line 10 miles long out here. You cannot do that.
I had that experience too, because we'd do readings and people say, well, whoever wants to talk to me about whatever. And of course, young and innocent, it's like that. But I probably have done some trance channeling. But I don't like not having that much control. So what I've learned to do is just to step aside a little bit.
Yes, you have to step aside.
So I can listen. There are some times when it gets, depending upon what I'm doing and for what purpose, there are times when I won't necessarily remember it during it, but I will. Give me an hour or so, and then I'll start to piece it together.
I would never remember anything if she hadn't been writing it down. I mean, nowadays I would
leave. She and David would leave, and whoever was there was going to talk, and I just kept.
I don't know where I went. I just went away.
Everybody loves coffee with cream and sugar.
Oh yeah, it was strange. What was it? Coffee and something else they liked. Coffee and but every single one of them practically would go, do you have coffee?
Yeah, it's like my great grandmother Maggie would come in, and she was where's coffee? Where's the coffee?
Well, and I have, a lot of times it's coffee, usually black.
Mine was cream and sugar.
Ours is cream and sugar.
Or rum. Or rum. Sometimes a cigarette.
Oh, definitely cigarettes.
No, I didn't smoke anymore then. I didn't smoke when
when you were David, you smoked.
Yeah, but I quit when David died. Remember, I quit after that. I never smoked again after
when you were actually channeling David, you would pick up a cigarette. That was not you. That was him.
I didn't have cigarettes in the house, Heather.
No, there was marijuana.
Oh, you're talking about a joint. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I did.
As far as he was concerned, it was smoking.
Okay. You're right. Yeah.
So it is something that I've learned how to. I will step aside, but with an agreement that, okay, you can show up, but here are my rules for you using me as your channel.
And you know that it's super important because they need to respect your boundaries, your space. One time when Ra came in, he walked down into me and I threw him out. He didn't ask. He just came in and went, boom, hi.
And you started giving orders. And we said, you said, get out.
I said, get the F out.
Yeah.
And then he apologized. When he came back, he apologized. I'm just used to being the boss. And I'm like, you're not the boss of my body.
It's interesting. I had an experience where doing some particular channeling, I have a guide that is my protector and a gatekeeper. And I was channeling with somebody else, or I was communicating with someone else's, and there was this they were asking me to say certain things. And I was like, no, I'm not going to say that. You need to figure out a different way to say that. I'm not saying that.
Right, exactly.
And it basically, because my gatekeeper was very proud that I set a boundary, and I got a lot of respect from the other because I set a boundary and I stuck to it.
Exactly.
So there was a comfort
super
level.
Important because some of them will really try to take control.
That's right.
And I think that's why a lot of people don't want to trans channel is they're afraid somebody's going to come in and take over. And it really doesn't work like that. You can throw them out anytime you want. You can ask them to leave
You're
anytime
allowing them to be in there to communicate through you.
And
You
most of the
are not
ones that I
responsible.
communicated with were very respectful, but Ra was just a
Good.
total piece of cake. But he came back with respect and never did that, pulled
Yeah,
that
that's great.
nonsense again.
He always came back with respect after that. Yeah. I was thinking, you were saying we know that he liked coffee. And then I got to thinking what came into my head was whatever cookie I had been making, that's
Yeah.
what they wanted.
I was thinking
Oh,
it was during COVID, we were so stuck in the house.
I
She's
know.
a baker. She baked the entire time. The entire time.
mhm.
We gained a lot of weight. I'm talking croissants, chocolate croissants. She's a master baker,
Sounds pretty good
and
to
I'm a
me.
master eater.
I'm pretty good too, but I really like Christmas time because then I only eat one or two of them and I send all the rest out. They're all
Okay.
presents. So I get to have my cookies and get rid of them too.
Nice.
So have you thought about doing more trance channeling? Because now you can just record it. You could just record them rather than like I had Heather writing everything down when I was doing it
Mm.
because I was too thick to think of recording it, but I was new.
Yeah.
I
And I was going to say,
Yes, she does, and they are the most incredible croissants you have ever tasted in your life. I don't know
they're
how many
fun. They're fun.
times she can fold them. I swear it, she does it 100 times.
I love it. It's just fun. Anyway, I was going to say the hardest thing I had to do during her channeling things, other than telling her slow down so I could write it out, was getting her to even look at it afterwards.
mhm.
I don't
She
know
was,
why. I don't know why that
you
was.
didn't, I don't, but a few years later, I started handing them to her and she
Mm.
started reading them and going, oh, okay.
One of the ones I remember was my husband telling me back in 2016 that the Oompa Loompa was the most dangerous man on earth, and I laughed. I absolutely laughed.
Mhm.
I had no earthly idea, and it was they were telling me things that were gonna happen, and they've all happened.
Mhm.
They've happened, and now I understand why they were telling me he was the most dangerous man on earth. I just thought it was hilarious at the time. You gotta be kidding me. But
Yeah.
they also told me that he would do exactly what he's been doing, and that it was absolutely necessary, and that was
And that he
his
relishes
mission.
his job.
But he, enjoyed his job a little too much.
Mhm. Yeah. So you asked me why, would I do trans channeling? Probably not, because I don't have one particular entity that I work with.
Mhm.
I'm almost like a slot machine. It's like, okay,
I'm pretty much like that too. I don't have
who's
any.
getting a reading, and
Mhm.
it takes me a minute or two to get into that. So, but I
Right.
haven't really thought about that. So that's a good question.
Because if how I started was through meditation, and it started happening through meditation, and I really didn't know I had no idea what I was doing. I was
Uh-huh.
so new to it. I
Thank
tuned into Gaia to watch
Mhm.
trans channelers on Gaia to figure out how to
Ah,
protect myself, how to, to get the basics. It was called
mhm.
Interviews with Extra Dimensionals. It's a
Okay.
fascinating series. I think there's 3 years, and the guy interviews the channeler, and then he interviews the entity the person's channeling. So you get to meet the person, and then you get to meet the entity they're channeling.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
absolutely fascinating.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
that
the whole
really
thing was
helped.
just to get you comfortable with it and
Mhm.
get you relaxed enough. She was a natural channeler, but she would get too uptight to be able to do it.
Mm.
She had to relax.
Yeah,
That's cool.
definitely, definitely.
That's great.
But it's morphed into other things. I don't have people dropping in or entities dropping in like that anymore. Uh, I have to ask for it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have to ask for them. What did Amanda
And
say?
that's, I mean, I still have some that just drop in because I just know they're there all of
Mhm.
a sudden. But for the most part, it's only if I ask.
Sure.
Except that I have a lot of visitors in my apartment. I was
Oh,
That happens.
yeah.
oh, hello.
Oh,
Sometimes they're animal looking, and I'm going, okay, who are you?
And it does for me. It depends upon what's the purpose for the reading and
Mhm.
and the
Right.
type of event. So it's like okay, and
so do you
but
happen to have 2 or 3 guides that you know of that you work with, or do you
no,
just
I
work
this is that's it. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I don't have particular guides that I work with that keep showing up. Uh, I have certain deity that I work with and that I honor and I make offerings to. But
Can you
I
tell us who that is?
um
Well, you don't have to if
You
you
don't have to if you're
no,
not
no, I'm
comfortable.
checking in with them and
Oh,
I'm no, I'm not, but they're associated with my work in the coven.
mhm,
And Jeffrey and I also have deities for the house for the house that we live.
cool.
And so but I so do I have specific guides that I work with often? No, because I try to be as open as possible for whomever is going to be helpful. I'm
That's
open
kinda how I
to
work it too.
be
Yeah,
helpful. Yeah,
whoever we need to, that's who comes in. But
yes.
we do have one particular one. We share him. He's a sentinel for both of us, and he
Nice.
protects us.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
And
his
I
name is Red Eagle. He was an Apache
uh-huh.
Mhm.
medicine man
Cool. That's
back in the
great.
day.
And
Uh,
he watches out for both of us.
Good.
and I believe we all have sentinels. They're to protect us from energies that are not compatible with the human body,
Uh-huh.
as well as protection from lower vibrations. And I believe we all have them. We just don't really necessarily know who they are because he
Are
came in for me when I decided to take reconnective healing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, my husband goes, "I'm going to have to touch you every night for 5 minutes." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And I'd wake up in the middle of the night and his hand would be on my arm and I would be getting downloads through him. And there were
Mhm.
3 entities that came through: a Flathead Indian, a Jewish, rabbi, an ancient Jewish rabbi, and then Red Eagle. And apparently I had known Red Eagle in a past life.
Oh, uh-huh.
And so, I kind of had to rate all 3 of them to see which one I wanted to
Mhm.
stay. And I liked all of them, but Red Eagle, because we had a relationship in the past, I thought,
Mhm.
"Well, this is who I
Sure.
wanna
Oh,
do."
yeah.
But I actually David and I this was back in 2009 or 10, I think it was, and, he we looked up the Flathead Indian, and we found him. We
Yep.
found where he was from,
Wow.
a little bit of history on him, so that was kind of interesting, and that was
Yeah.
back in the day when the internet was pretty new. It was
Mhm.
Yeah.
pretty
And when we
hard.
started working together, David said Red Eagle was taking me on as well since we're together.
I love that.
So,
Yeah,
I love that. I will say, when I do Akashic record readings, I have there are 3 deity. I have 1 master and 2 deity, 2 or 3 deity that are always present.
right.
So if they are there, then I know it's that things are fine. If one of them is missing, I've got to do some checking and
Huh.
verifying. So,
yeah.
but
My 2 are almost always or 2 of mine are almost always there.
mhm,
I think they always are. I don't think I've ever missed them being there.
And
yeah.
yet, with me, I feel like whoever needs to be there at that time will be there. I don't necessarily know who's all there, but I do know that Metatron's with me a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember Metatron was with us back in the day. I don't communicate with Metatron so much. It's Jesus is around a lot lately.
Yeah.
Although I call him Al because
You called
religious
him
word.
Owl? Al?
Al.
Okay.
Yeah, when I first met him with Terry Suzuki, he showed up in Carhartt boots and work pants, and I got this visualization of a lumberjack. The Monty Python "I'm a Lumberjack" song came to
I know that. Yes, I know that.
and Jesus was like, "I don't care what you call me. You can call me anything you want." And I said, "Well," so then the song, the Paul Simon song, "You Can Call Me," I don't know, that's not the name of it, but that line, "You can call me Al,"
Uh-huh.
I call him Al.
I love it. I love it.
It just is not as intimidating as Jesus. There's this thing about, am I worthy enough to talk to Jesus? You know, this religious thing.
Yeah.
And I was Episcopalian, you know, we were just like a Sunday go to meeting kind of religion. We weren't really religious. It was just the thing you did in the 50s. You went to church every Sunday.
It was social.
Yeah, it was a lot of it was just social. And but for me, I loved working with the little kids. I always worked downstairs with the little kids. And it was all about love and peace and brotherhood and compassion, blah, blah, blah. All the teachings of Jesus. And then you went to the church and then it was hellfire and damnation. And you're like, I'm not quite getting this. So I decided, I just kind of blew it all off for many, many years. And so I just really had a lot of trouble. I couldn't even say God for many years. It was just.
Now I was going to get back to the chat.
I was an atheist.
Yeah, I've read Silver Birch too, Garnet. He was really something else. It's deep. Yeah, you really have to be open to understand what he's.
What is Silver Birch? I've never heard of this.
It's it's a book. It's called Silver Birch, but it's an Indian. It's full of Indian poetry, but I mean, it looks like poetry, but there's so much more involved in it. It's spiritual.
That's cool.
Yeah, but like I said, it's really deep, and you have to be open to understand what this being said. It's time for me to read it again. I've got it here somewhere.
I'm a firm believer. Whatever we need most shows up for us. We just have to pay attention.
I agree.
Paying attention, that's the problem.
Paying attention is the hard part. Yeah. Sometimes it's like, phew.
Yes.
And you go, what was that?
Sometimes I have to get my head knocked against the wall before I get it.
Sure.
And sometimes I remind myself, you know, you need a 2x4 to get through to me sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when did you start on your spiritual growth?
Well, I growing up as the youngest of a Catholic family, I served Mass. I was a lector.
Altar boy, all that.
Altar boy.
My brothers did that.
I actually went to seminary for a summer, and that wasn't for me. But then when I was in college, I was in a long-term relationship with someone who was very open-minded, and we were doing a lot of reading of the New Age material, New Age stuff. And that was very fascinating. I actually remember, the summer before I met him, I was reading Shirley MacLaine because that's when Out on a Limb.
Out on a Limb. Oh my God. I thought that was the most incredible book in the world. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
And the courage it took her to write it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
In that day and age, it made me want to go to Machu Picchu.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. That was probably the thing where it was like, I would read something and I'm like, okay, yeah. It wasn't something that I was like, no, that could never happen. It's like, no, my response was, oh, okay. I mean, I could
I think
see
I
how
was
that
always
is so.
open-minded like that, about things like that. I was always curious about anything
Mhm.
that was
Yeah,
different.
And I was looking at Amanda Carroll, and she said that Sedona and Shasta, and we've been to both of them, and yes, they are both very, very influential.
hmm
You know, when I go to Mount Shasta, I never wanna leave. I just wanna stay there. As soon as I leave, I wanna go back. It's just the weirdest energy, and I had no aches and pains on Mount Shasta.
Oh, interesting.
And the other thing about Shasta is it's there and it's not.
Yeah. We did.
I
She
have
took a
pictures.
picture.
I have pictures of it. It's there. And the next seconds, it's not.
In the next frame, it wasn't there. It was the strangest thing I'd ever seen.
Mm,
If I hadn't had pictures, you wouldn't have believed me.
Mm-mm, never in a million years. It
so
just
I'm like,
interesting.
disappeared.
what? Picture.
Yeah, we've shown those on our Mount Shasta.
Yeah.
Have you been there? Have you been to Mount Shasta,
I have
Gerald?
not been to Mount
Do you
Shasta.
have any desire? Do you have it feel any pull towards it?
I don't actually, and which
Mhm.
is odd. I mean, some of the, uh, um, I no, I'm not, and I know there's a lot of, like Mount Shasta. There's some places in Hawaii that are supposed to be
Mhm.
vortices and great um, crossing of ley lines.
Mhm.
I've not been there.
Right.
Those
Oh,
ley lines are even more active than they used to be. They've always been active. Unlike the ones here in Denver, they had to wake back up, but those ley lines have always been active.
hmm yeah. I do think, speaking of ley lines, this just popped into my head. I love a good labyrinth.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a great one on Mount Shasta.
Well, of course there is.
There's a great one. We walked it, and I didn't even know who, Saint what's his name? Saint Germain. I had no idea who that was.
Mm,
And I'm walking the labyrinth, and all of a sudden, "Hi, I'm Saint Germain." And he's walking with me
wow.
through the labyrinth, and I'm like,
I would not
"Okay,
have
this
been
is
able,
interesting."
yeah, I
And I
could not
just
have walked that labyrinth without him.
Mm,
I just physically could not do it.
She walked it right after me, and I had not even said anything when I came out, and Saint Germain walked her through it. She was having issues, with her back and
wow.
her legs working properly. She's had surgery, so it's fine now, but at the time,
I
she
would be walking and all of a sudden I wouldn't be.
Wow.
And I would get stuck and he would have to get me going again.
that was our first experience on Mount Shasta, so it was all from there on, it was just like, "Holy
Oh,
guacamole."
yeah. Yeah. I what Grace Cathedral in San Francisco,
Mhm.
they have a labyrinth there, and
Ooh, I didn't know
when
that.
yes, and it's quite lovely. I went there with a friend of mine, and I was yeah, he was like, well, where do you want to go? And I'm like, I really want to walk this labyrinth, and I did. And I'm a person who I like to be in a lot of control. It's a thing that I have. I like to be in control. I don't like to lose my
That's
way.
all
And
right.
I was like going, a labyrinth. And once you get in there and you're walking with intention, suddenly I was going, well, wait a minute. That's not where I thought we were going to go. But okay, keep going, keep going. It was great. I ended up walking it 3 times. It was so powerful. It
Wow.
was really
And
amazing.
there is also a labyrinth, and there's a area full of little garden areas,
Uh
and
huh.
one of them is a lavender labyrinth. And
Oh.
fortunately, it wasn't blooming, so I went ahead and went through it. But
hmm
That was beautiful.
yeah, it
That was the
was.
that's the Peace Garden in
That's the peace garden, right?
Mount
Thank you,
Shasta.
Amanda. It's nice to know I'm not the only one that thought said there's a mountain. No, there's not a mountain, and then there is a mountain. It's nice to know I'm not the only one.
There's another one at, the Stanley Hotel,
oh.
Yeah.
but every time I've been up there, it's been closed, so I've never walked it.
There used to be a website called, I think it's labyrinthfinder.com, to
Mhm.
have all of the
Oh,
labyrinths
fun.
and where they're open. So
I also did one in Sedona, but it was in a lady's yard. She did, what is that? M, it starts EM, Emmentology, something like that, a personality thing. And she had a labyrinth on her property, and I walked that after I had my session with her. I can't.
And there was I went to somebody who, when you left, it didn't matter going in, but when you left, you had to walk this small labyrinth to get back out. So you start here and walk the labyrinth.
Oh, how interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to do the one at the Stanley Hotel. The Stanley Hotel.
Maybe it'll be open sometime. Find out when it's open and just make sure you're back on one of those times.
Oh, I will. Yeah. We go up to Estes Park quite frequently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always take guests up there. My granddaughter and her partner drove up there the other day, and they saw bighorn sheep with babies climbing up the hills. Videotaped them. Just so cute.
I love that.
I love that too. So I drive a lot up in the foothills and up to Estes Park just to see the deer and the turkey and and for the energy. I love the energy.
Yeah. I remember when I was camping in the hill country of Texas, and I would be camping along the river, and you could look across the river and there were mountains, and it was so weird to see the mountain goats just going on the mountains. I'm going, wow, they're right in front of me.
Right.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Holy
crap, I can't believe it's already been an hour. We're really getting close.
Been having a good time.
Have I been
so much fun having you. And I love that you wore your wig too and your red lipstick. I appreciate that so much.
That's fantastic. It's so much fun to have you here.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. I'm glad we were able to get this figured out before you go on a break.
I know. Yeah, because we do a show with Allie tomorrow, and then we're on break for 6 weeks.
And I hope you enjoyed yourself as much as we did.
I did. I had a good time.
And you'll come back?
I'm like going, is there going to be a part 3? Or
do I ask want.
Or do I ask you each individually to come on my channel?
However you want to do it.
Or casual. You know, if you're watching people, do you want me to separate the two? I mean, or do you want me to do them both?
What do you say, separate or together?
It doesn't matter to us.
We do both. We do both. Yeah. We don't care, but it's always fun, however we do it. Hopefully, what does Garnet say? Just needs a bit of eyeshadow. Oh, there you go, Gerald. I have my eyeshadow on because our producer said smoky eyes are a must.
Although I still have some smoky on it, but I've redone what I normally do and looks better for me. I like it.
I wear glasses, so I'm not going to bother.
Oh, I wear glasses too, but they're clear.
I just love your glasses, Gerald. I think those are the best glasses on TV.
They've got character.
Well, I do have another pair that are pretty good here. These on. Hold on. Let me put these.
Hold on, just a moment.
Just a moment. Let me see.
Hi, Peace Mama. Hi, Garnet. Beltane. Anybody we missed?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, he's our alien friend now. I love that.
Is that a good look?
I think that's a good look, particularly with the pink hair.
I love it.
Yes, it is a little whoa.
But I particularly like your bunny, your Easter bunny.
Thank you. Yes, part of the TarotStache merch store, but it's like, I mean, come on.
You have a merch store?
I do. I do. But what do you need more than
the best thing is the mustache.
You don't need more than that, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I love the mustache on the bunny.
Yes, isn't it great? It's
I think it's perfect.
Absolutely perfect.
I gotta get a bluebird and some stuff like that. So
when are you on again? A stash bunny.
A stash bunny. Well,
I love that.
In the mug.
I love the mug too.
And so I'm actually on Monday. I am having a show with Jane the Secret Tarot. We're doing what I call a deck casual. Mm-hmm. Where we talk about a deck, and we're talking about the Intuitive City Oracle, which is a tarot deck.
Cool.
And I'm looking forward to this. And it's smart if people subscribe to my channel. I'm doing a whole lot of different stuff. So, and
His
Friday,
channel is in the description of this video, but it's basically at TarotStache. It's easy to find.
yes,
Please, please, please go sign up.
yes,
Like and share.
there you go.
Okay, so we're going to be with Allie tomorrow at 5 p.m. on her channel. And then we're off for 6 weeks while I go pick up my van and figure out how to do this shit from the road.
I think, I mean,
that's going to take a little bit, but we're going to get it. We'll get it. We'll get it.
please take some video of your adventures, and you can put them up later, but you want to capture.
Oh, yeah. I have
Those are
every
great.
intention of videotaping, and I just heard from the van company, and they're going to be videotaping when I pick it up. They're going to videotape that, and so fantastic. And yeah, it'll get posted a little bit later, and I might do a surprise live. You never know. Can do a pop-up.
Just depends on where she is and what she's doing.
That's right.
You know, Jenny and I think we can get into a lot of trouble. So I think we'll have fun. I think we'll have some videos.
I'm counting on the two of you getting into a lot of trouble. I mean, that's why I want film evidence of it. I need pictures. We don't need police reports or anything like that. So don't worry about that.
Okay, we won't post.
Parking tickets are okay.
No, let's be clear. I did not say that.
No, there's not going to be any tickets.
There won't be. There won't be.
Well, I hope you have a wonderful time. Do you want me to pull a card for your travels?
Please do, both of you. That would be wonderful. Thanks, Linda. Thanks, Peace Mama. Jenny's like, who, me? Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, darn it. He's a very funny guy, our Gerald. We love him.
I am I'm using the Dream Visions Tarot.
Thank you.
Which is one that I use for off planet.
Oh, interesting. So, I could be off planet pretty easy.
So, okay, so your trip.
Purple Elephant Deb, you've got to come back on too. I hope is Deb up to doing shows?
If we get her in the right moment.
Okay, good.
Deb doesn't know that I'm going to ask her if she wants to do a show on Monday evening, but you know.
Heads up, Deb.
So here you go. I have the 8 of Cups for you.
Oh, that's great.
That's nice.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Well, it was upside down. So this is this 8 of Cups is telling me that I'm going to read it this way. This journey that you're on, it's going to be very healing, because each place you stop, there is an opportunity for you to release the emotional baggage that you're carrying and returning it to the earth to be recycled. It's no longer serving you, so get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
And part of me also says, if you're going to be near water or a beach, you might want to collect some water while you're there, and allow that to be a memory of your journey and something that you can use later.
Lovely.
But this is really about you're letting things go. You're okay. I want to say lightening your load, but what I'm being told is you're lessening your load, so you can arrive to where you want to go. You're not running from something. You're going to something.
Thank you. That actually fits with what I've been told.
Okay.
And it goes with my card. Now, this is the Dragon Oracle.
I love dragons.
I know. And this is destiny. Basically, that's destiny. I thought, okay, that's appropriate. What they're saying is, it's your life. It's your journey. It's your path. It's your walking it. And you walk it your way.
I absolutely intend to.
And if you want to change, then you need to be that change, not waiting for
Absolutely.
anybody else. You have to do it. It's you don't need anybody's permission to do it, anything. It's the way you do it. And
thank you,
like I
guys.
said, it's yours. Light and fluffy's not going to get what you want. Just go for it.
And when have I ever done light and fluffy?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. But I'm going, oh, well, if you really think, but you don't do light and fluffy.
What, Gerald?
Remember, it's yours.
Jenny, do you want a card too? You just have to ask. Because she's going with you, right, Jenny?
Yeah. Let's do a card for Jenny.
Does she want a card? Jenny,
Of
do you
course
want
she
a card?
does. Of course she does.
Okay.
She says yes. Here we go.
Okay.
It's really interesting because I have things to leave at the sites I go to, crystals and tobacco and things like that I intend to leave. So I might as well leave baggage as well.
So, Jenny, for you, this is the Lovers card. Now, the Lovers doesn't always mean romantic. It means you're finding the balance between the different aspects of who you are. The light, the dark, the yin, the yang. You are developing a rapport, and it feels very much like on this journey, Jenny, you're going to remember what you'd forgotten. And Jenny, if you aren't journaling on this trip, you best be.
We can sit down and journal at the same time, okay? Make ourselves journal.
Yeah,
it does kind of go ahead.
Yeah, so it's just there is this feeling of your this is a recognition of you finding the pieces and parts of you that have gone astray.
Ooh.
They're not far from you. You're just going to go out and suddenly they're going to be attracted to you. They're going to come back to you, and only the ones that need to be brought back.
Ooh, lovely.
So you're not going to get any of that. You're not going to get any of that crap.
So we can photo journal as well as write journal.
Yeah, and the card I got, and it's in blues, but it's Gaia. Basically, what it's saying is, have the courage to stand up for what you believe in your heart and what you know is true. And they're saying things that have happened, you can't do anything about them, but you need to keep your courage to stand up for what you believe in your heart, taking care of Mother Earth, and Mother Earth will take care of you, because they're all going to stand with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be the change that's needed. You just have to state your truth and stay with it.
Yeah.
Hey, Sun Psychic Jean.
Hi, Sun Psychic Jean.
Did you hear us talking about you earlier, young lady?
I was singing your praises, Jean, for the support that you give me in trusting my mediumship.
But just know Gaia's there with you.
She's Gina stood by me and taught me a lot as well. She's a fabulous human being, and I love her dearly.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. Jenny says, "Wow, thanks."
Well, between the two of you,
so much fun.
You're going to have a great time.
I think so too.
And by the way, Heather, you have the Three of Wands. Whilst she's on this, while Priscilla's on this adventure, some of the things that you have been wanting are going to start showing up for you. Welcome them in, enjoy them, celebrate them, and yes, you're going to miss her, but you are not alone.
I know I'm not alone. I have so many people crowded in this apartment.
Oh.
In different dimensions, but it's full.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Okay, Gerald, what about your Muppet photo?
Well, I would say the Linda Day Gonzalez.
That was Jean.
No, I know, but Linda Day Gonzalez has created a Muppet persona for me, and I'm finding a picture of it. So
I want one, Linda.
This is
Oh my
Gerald
God, it's you.
as a Muppet.
It's you. Oh God, that is too cute. Look, it's
Yeah.
you.
That's you. That's good.
That is adorable.
Now you just need a purple wig.
And mini powdered donuts too.
All
During
right.
during the readings yesterday, there was somebody who wanted a message from his father for him and his mother. And the first thing that I got when I read it was I got an image of, not really an image, but I just felt this guy was sneaking out of the room, and then he was chomping on powdered
Donuts.
Those
donuts.
awful powdered
Yeah,
donuts.
and I mean, he was just like and doing this, and then he'd finish up, and then he'd go into the room smiling, and all of the powdered sugar was all over his face. And he was doing that.
He
Nobody,
was not hiding it at all.
yeah, nobody was going to believe that he wasn't doing it. Well, it turned out that this guy, his father, his favorite snack was miniature powdered donuts. And he would go buy them. It was so fascinating. I'm like going, again, it's that thing that we all have to learn when we're doing mediumship. You just say what comes into your mind.
Yep.
And it was like,
I'm learning.
Don't know why this is, but it was like
That's
wow.
hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. I mean, I just get this vision of this white powder all over his face.
Yes.
I remember how messy they were when I was a kid.
And it's all over him because you can't eat
it without getting it all over you. Exactly.
And it was one of those things that it's like, you know how sometimes you've all seen the kids, and I never did this as a child. I never snuck any food. And I never got caught,
please.
Whatever. But it was like all over his face and his shirt, and he was just like walking around like nothing was going on.
Like, I didn't do anything.
Yes.
I
didn't have any donuts.
Yeah. And it was exactly what the guy needed. He understood it. And it was beautiful, and I was so glad to be able to help deliver that message.
Isn't it fun? I love being able to deliver messages like that. We change people's lives. It's so healing for us to get that information, because I remember when my husband died, and I knew, my husband was a psychic medium, so I knew there was what was on the other side. There was lots going on the other side that we don't know about over here, but so I knew he was there.
Yeah.
And I forgot my point. I totally forgot why I was bringing that up. Oh,
well, because it's part of that communication. And when we have that message, it's like, okay, I'm just trusting what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There you go.
I can't remember why I brought David up, but nevertheless,
he would always give enough clues that you know exactly who he's talking about without you saying a word.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah.
He got really interesting messages, though. I'm glad I had that experience before I became a psychic medium. Oh, well, I guess it's time to go, kids.
Oh, we probably better.
We could probably talk another hour, but
well, in 6 or 8 weeks or 10 weeks, we'll.
Yep, I'll let you. As soon as I start scheduling again, I'll schedule you and Deb H, because it's been a long time since she's been on either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like says, good night, everybody.
Good night, Sun Psychic Jean. We love you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
It's been wonderful, Gerald.
Take care of yourselves. Gerald, we want you back soon. Thank you so much for being here. It's been a blast. Thank you to all in the chat room for being here. We love you, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And we will see you next time.
And take care of you.
Good night.